Blessed to be a part of your day. Kay Millie in the morning. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. We understand that you have a lot of choices in the morning, and to keep the mantle that we hold dearly, Idaho's first radio station, KIDO Talk Radio, our predecessors that were the pioneers of broadcasting in the state of Idaho, we understand that responsibility. We do our very best to give you the most information, the most time to talk. And, of course, we love to hear what you have to say. Joining us now from the state of New Jersey is Dr. Robert Statica. Dr. Statica, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Kevin.
You know, we take a look at the world. Did we ever live in a world where we had, like, a rotary phone and 3-channel televisions and, you know, maybe 4 or 5 radio stations as opposed to this dynamic world we live in today? It's hard to imagine a world without social media.
Absolutely. It used to be simpler, right? Now we have so many choices.
Exactly. Just try and leave your phone at home and see what happens.
Right. It used to be, if you remember, it used to be the saying, the only phone without it when they refer to the American Express credit card. I think now it's the only phone without it with the phone. You will go back home to get your phone if you forget it.
Dr. Statica, let's talk a little bit about cyber currency. You're the CEO and president of, is it Blake FX?
Yes, Black FX.
Black
yes.
FX, thank you. A little bad pronunciation on my part. And you're the world's top 1% expert in cyber defense, cryptology, AI, and technology with only over 25 years experience. How concerned should we be about AI? Is this something good, or is this Skynet from the Terminator movies on its way?
No, I think AI is good. It will bring a lot of advances in various fields. I think will help us understand better the enormous amount of data that we collect through various inputs, whether it's medical or financial data that we need to crunch and make a prediction. AI engines are extremely good at looking at very, very large volumes of data and crunch them very fast and pretty much give us a crisp output from a very, very fuzzy input. So I'm looking at AI as more as a decision support system rather than a Skynet type thing that you refer to. I think it'll be very useful.
What about the idea of AI spying on us? We've had reports that people can actually see us through our smart TVs, or even good old Alexa is listening even when we're not yapping to it.
That's right, and this is something that we created, right? And it's not an AI engine; it's let's say a smart appliance, if you will. I love smart appliances, and I love my fridge to place the order for me, so I don't have to be bothered with that. But with that, of course, we have to compromise on security. And the main concern is that once these devices and appliances join the internet via these IoT protocols, we're going to witness a major hacking happening all over the world. And yes, you'll be hacked by your dishwasher probably in the future. And that's of concern to us because mostly people push these devices to market to have a different product than others versus looking at security. That's the most important probably thing today if you look at all the hacks that happen. So
I'm just trying to.
It's a nice thing, yeah.
Right, I'm just going back to what you said, being hacked by my dishwasher. I guess it's time to get out the Palmolive and do it myself.
Exactly.
So, Dr. Statica, when we take a look at AI, so this is going to be a good thing, but you have Facebook and others that, well, you know how it is. Okay, you innocently go to Amazon.com and boom, you look at a couple lenses, and before you know it, the Drudge Report or the local paper or our station's website, you're plastered with sales for lenses, whether you want to buy one or not. Again, sir, is this a good thing?
No, I don't think it's a good thing. I think it's part of the money-making protocols that these companies have. Somebody has to pay for these systems, and although it's free for us, like the Facebook and Twitter of the world, right? They have to monetize somehow so they can make money to pay for these humongous data centers and networks that they have. So we are the business product for them. Our data is their business goal. They monetize our data. So the way they do it, they data mine whatever you search for, your profile, your friends, your pictures, your text messages. And then based on that, they have an engine close to AI that looks at that and says, okay, so Kevin likes, to look at Porsches and he likes this kind of wine. So let's serve him with ads for these things. And they sell the ads to the dealerships, to the restaurants.
Sure.
And this is how they make the money.
So cyber currency, is this your latest endeavor? What's going on with that?
Yes, it is. And I'm sure that by now everybody heard of Bitcoin and Ethereum systems. And also about the latest hacks that happened just a few days ago in South Korea. At the end of the year, at the end of last year and beginning of this year in Japan for the coin check hack of $522 or $530 million. By now, because of all these hacks that happened with these currencies, the fallout worldwide, it's around $42 billion in losses. So we are witnessing a tremendous amount of hacks, and the money are changing hands in an unprecedented way. It's probably the biggest money heist in history if you look at these cryptocurrencies. And it's only because they are not secure. People think they are secure, but these systems that run, also known as exchanges, are not encrypting the data at rest. When the data sits on the server, it's either in the clear or the keys that encrypt the data are not protected properly. So it's like having a safety deposit box with your local bank, but you give the key of the box to the teller, something like this.
Sure.
And it's very simple for the hackers to go in, extract the tokens or the coins, move them from the wallet of the bank to their wallet, and they disappear. You can't catch them. You don't know where they are. It's so asymmetric that with one phone, you can pretty much bring down a bank. You don't need a sophisticated army or a network. You just need one phone. So with that in mind, what we do at BlockFX, we decided to design the most secure environment in the world that will protect all the cryptocurrencies end to end. Our idea is that it's your money, it should stay that way. And in our systems, encryption takes place on your phone, and decryption takes place on the bank's device or computer or your friend's phone that received the money from you. Nobody in between. So even if they steal the coins, there is no way for them to decrypt the level of encryption that you use, which is above what the NSA, the CIA, or even the nuclear weapons of the U.S. use today. So we are so advanced in this cryptography that we use to protect the data that I think we're going to solve the global hacking phenomenon that happens now.
Well, if people want some information on that, what can they do?
So they can go to our website, it's Black, B-L-A-K, coin.org, or follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and all the other social systems, BlackCoinFX.
Finally, you think cryptocurrency is too good to be true?
I think cryptocurrency is here to stay. I think it's similar to what we witnessed in 2000, if you remember the so-called internet bubble that everybody said is going to burst and internet will be gone. Look where we are today. Your dishwasher is on the internet, right? So the cryptocurrency is here to stay. What we witnessed in the past few months, very high interest from national governments of foreign countries contacting us, requesting information on how to launch their own national cryptocurrency on our platform. The number one question was, how secure can we be? So security, if we solve this problem, and I think we did, if we solve this problem worldwide, I think cryptocurrency is here to stay, and I think it will be the future of money.
All right, Dr. Stanikin, we're going to hold you accountable, and you say Skynet's okay, so hopefully they won't get you and me. Have a great day, sir.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Thank you, you too.
Bye-bye. What a nice young man. Let's go to Jim in Meridian with Kevin Miller. Thank you for your patience, Jim.
Hey, Kevin. Your show is a blessing in our day, and you've really had some great callers and guest this week.
Well, thank you. The person that does that is Mr. Amaya. He does an excellent job of keeping the show rolling. I am merely your friend that answers I don't even answer the phone. I don't know what I do. But
Well, he and you have done a terrific job. I was particularly impressed by that lady. What was it? Remembrance.org that you had. She was really articulate.
Oh, Maria Espinoza, yeah. Sometimes you find people that are professional guests, and they do a really good job, and then you find people that have been personally impacted and are true believers, and
yes,
it comes across when you listen to them.
I wanted to throw out there three actions on the border situation, Mexican border, for you, and get your opinion as well as the other callers.
Sure.
If they want to chime in, three specific actions that I haven't heard discussed anywhere, and it comes back to holding people and entities accountable. Mexico is culpable because they traveled through Mexico. The Mexican government knew they were there. They knew they were at the border, and they were going to jump the border illegally. They knew all of that. And Mexico enforces its immigration laws very strictly, so presumably they had passports if they were not Mexicans. Some of them may have been Mexicans. And I heard some were Guatemalans, El Salvador, San Salvador. Right. So first of all, how about we cut off all foreign aid to Mexico immediately? Cut it off. All the loans, all the grants, all the if there's military equipment, whatever it is, it's billions of dollars per year in foreign aid the U.S. gives away. Cut that off, and also suspend the money transfers that the earlier caller mentioned. Suspend those to Mexico immediately. And the president could do that, or the Congress could do that. And that would also apply to Guatemala and El Salvador, those other countries that those people came from. Stop all foreign aid to them as well. Presumably they had passports from there, and those countries knew they were leaving when they entered Mexico. They didn't jump the border into Mexico. Mexico has their army at the border. So those are two of the actions. The other to hold accountable is these so-called parents, I call them so-called, who committed a crime with their children, as if a bank robber would take a 6-year-old in while robbing the bank. These are unfit parents. By definition, they're unfit parents. So we don't want or need unfit parents in our country. I would put them on a list when they're deported, put them on a permanent list that they will never be allowed to immigrate to the United States under any legal program in the future or under chain migration or any other method. They will never be allowed to immigrate to the United States because they're unfit parents. So those are the three actions.
Well, I think if we were serious about it, Jim, we would take a look at that. Donald Trump can get that wall built by the Mexican government. Their number one source of revenue is the money that those folks that come here legally and illegally send back to the home country.
Yes, and this is costing a lot right now. All this housing, and I think you've touched on it. Those kids, if they have a dental problem tonight or an emergency, they're going to get dental care, which I don't even get as a veteran here. And I just, I'm outraged by this.
Well, you're right about it. Let me see if I can find this clip from yesterday where Donald Trump was, he spelled it out where we're putting folks ahead. Here we go.
Democrats put illegal immigrants before they put American citizens. What the hell is going on?
It's true.
He's certainly right about that. And I like what the earlier callers said about the Idaho congressional delegation is a fail. How long have they been there? I mean, a senator's term is 6 years. Haven't some of these been there for at least 2 terms?
Yep.
So that's 12 years. Why haven't they dealt with any of this? And where are their fixes or bills?
Nobody wants to create waves.
Yes. And I just wish the voters would get more attuned to, what you have in office and what they have not done here. And as people say, the rhinos, Republican in name only, who are just not getting the job done.
Jim, thank you for the nice thoughts, and we will get some reaction to your feedback.
Okay, best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you. 580-5436. 580-KIDO. As Jim said, why not cut off aid to Mexico? Why not cut off aid to all these countries? Of course, then you have to worry about the Russians and everybody else coming in, but just tax the heck out of all the money that they send back, well, Kevin, then it's going to be the black market. They won't be able to wire it. No, use that money to build the wall. As Donald Trump said, he's right about that. There is look, there are problems that can be solved in life. Want to lose weight? We'll talk about Kevin Miller's problem. You eat less food. You don't fill up your pie hole all the time. Want to stop the drug problem? You have drug tests. You're not going to stop all the problems, but you're going to significantly stop it. Want to stop the illegals? E-Verify. Oh, life is so simple on the radio. Let's talk about it next. Plus, why Congress didn't get a deal done, and let's face it, that's likely a good thing. Details next, and your calls with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. 25 after the hour, coming up next, we'll tell you how you're going to get to work safely and on time. Really? Probably the Friday lights, if I can hear Dave Burnett now yapping about it, making sure that you have the information you need while you're on the road. Speaking of information, one thing that we are reporting on here is what happened yesterday. A conservative immigration bill fails in the House. You heard it here first. Well, maybe not on 107.5 FM and 580 AM. A scheduled vote for a moderate bill is called off. This is your Miller Morning Montage.
On this vote, the yeas are 193 and the nays are 231. The bill is not passed.
We have a lot of different factions in our conference, but this is one of the better, if not best, conferences I've been to, where everybody's trying to come together as a team so we can get to 218 and get this across the finish line.
We spent a lot of time going through some of the lines of demarcation, some of the areas where we have real disagreement. We're trying to work through them. And in a very sincere way, members are trying to figure out if they can get there.
We're basically going to put this vote off until next week. And this will give us time, I think, to work out our differences.
Right now, we're going to keep working with our members. We had a very productive meeting, and you saw all the members that represent different viewpoints on immigration. And within the Republican conference, we have a wide array of viewpoints, but frankly, everybody wants to solve this problem. And I think that's what's been most encouraging. We have a wide array of viewpoints, but frankly, everybody wants to solve this problem.
Man, masters of the doublespeak. Coming up next, why doing nothing is a good thing. But first, let's get you to work safely and on time.
Garrett.
And Kevin Miller in the morning here, KIDO Talk Radio. So you heard everybody going, well, we did our very best, and things are going. Look, the truth is the fix is in. The Democrats, the Republicans, you know what they want. They want to just have the open borders. They want to get this out of the way. You have the Republicans going, we need to reach out to these folks that are coming in here legally and illegally, as if one. Well, let's do it. As if one ethnicity votes in unison, right? I'll give you an example, like when they say all people of Latin descent, Latin American descent, or of Spanish descent, whether you're, of Spain, of Mexico, of Guatemala, or whatever, you're all going to, Puerto Rico, you're all going to vote in unison. That is not the case. It's the equivalent of saying that all people of European descent, the Irish, the English, they certainly get along, the Italians, the French, they're all going to vote in unison. And if you legalize folks, it's going to help others. No, not really. The people that are here are used to totalitarian regimes that have come in illegally, so they're going to vote for the people that made it happen, not for the squishy Republicans that did. And look, if you're a Republican, this is frustrating to you. It's the age-old adage, the grassroots versus the conservatives. Now, we just had a major election. We had people spending a lot of money to lead Idaho. Now, we've been promised that we're going to have a conservative state. We'll see what happens. We'll see if we live up to that. But at 580-5436, all they're looking to do, you can't say that Paul Ryan is not looking to cut a deal so they can finally put this off, that Mitch McConnell's, the guy that's holding it up, the president of the United States. So it's a good thing. Look what they did to health care, right? They made it worse. And then the fix was going to make it worse. My man, Jim, his comments in response to the other Jim from Meridian about the Idaho delegation. Jim, they're doing their job, or at least the one that the big money people put them there to have done. Jim to Jim. Good point, Jim. Thank you for listening. Coming up next, it gets pretty, I don't want to say physical on television, but it doesn't. But this whole idea of being politically correct versus telling it like it is. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Doug. And let's go to Eben Brown. Talk about Minority Report happens. Facial recognition is a real thing. Coming to an airport near you, Eben, good morning.
Good morning.
So the Orlando airport is the first to require facial scans for all passengers. How does that work?
The Customs and Border Protection has been testing the system at Orlando as well as at LAX, where people arriving on international flights, excuse me, they have been using a system that essentially it checks their features of their face to give a positive or negative ID and then gets them through the customs line quickly. Some people who have been through the testing process that flew in from London last week said they essentially cleared customs in about 10 to 40 seconds, which is pretty cool. So with that, the agency has said that they will now make it the standard for arrivals at the international arrivals at Orlando. And if the system really proves itself, you could find it at practically all U.S. airports for international arrivals. I suspect that if it really works, that you would see something be implemented on the TSA side of things for people who, get to the airport for a departure where they have to go clear the TSA security. So it has some far-reaching implications, but there are people who are concerned about privacy issues and have the ability to opt out of it and go through it the old-fashioned way.
Indeed. You have to wonder, I guess the scans are going to be pretty good. I was just thinking as I was listening to your report, Eben, that if you don't want to be recognized, are we going to have people wearing false noses or something? I mean, that might be highly simplistic, but I guess
that would probably alert the curiosity of a security officer. Why are you wearing a fake nose when trying to get through customs? This is part of border security, and that's something. This is a tool to help actually enhance border security, but to not make it so painful for everybody as the extra scanning is needed. But this is something that could become the norm quite quickly.
Wow. Well, look, and you've traveled internationally, I'm sure, several times.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you're a man of the world, one of the most interesting men on the radio.
Thank you.
And coming back, it's always a pain going through customs.
It certainly is. It can take you a while, and if there's a backlog at the customs station, it could take a real long while. There are programs that some people can have for what's called global entry, where they have biometrics that they scan their fingerprints, and they are able to skip part of the line. But this would make the main line be a bit quicker because of facial recognition.
Eben, have a great weekend. Thank you.
You too.
Our great friend Eben Brown, the most interesting man in radio. That's pretty cool. Let's go to Ramona with Kevin Miller. Ramona in Nampa on KIDO Talk Radio. Hello, Ramona.
Hi, Kevin. Oh, my gosh, I can't believe it got through so fast. Okay, let me make my point. Good morning, Idaho. And I love your show. I work part-time, so I don't always get to hear you. But I love everybody's opinions. Most of them, anyway. I am an American citizen. I've called one time after President Trump became our president, and I listen to the news that I know I trust, and you talk about some of them, but a lot of them you don't, but that's okay. I listen to Lou Dobbs almost every night because he's pro-Trump, and I like his views. And I listen to you guys, and just so you know, I have a real problem with the immigration, what's going on. It really hits my heart. I was born here, like I said, but I have Mexican parents who became Americanized, And let me tell you, Kevin, a lot of people will not talk about what's going on, and a lot of people are against what President Trump's doing. So I can't even talk to almost all my family. So I choose to find people that want to talk about it or will talk about it in a polite way. So one thing I haven't heard anybody say is about the parents coming with these children. Why don't they do DNA testing? I don't know if that's expensive, but to really find out if these are their parents, I don't know, Kevin. I just thought I'd throw that out. I haven't heard anyone say anything about that.
Let me hit you with this, Ramona. How bad does it feel, though, that they've put conservatives in the closet and you can't even express your views around your friends or family because they all flip out?
They do, and I'm going to share one little story. I totally agree. They put us in a closet, and it really upsets me, especially on Facebook. If I say anything pro-Trump, I get in trouble. The other thing is, I went to visit my mom in California after the elections, and I was looking forward to listening to the news and stuff like that. And my mom listens to. We have two different TVs, but anyway, her TV, she had it on ABC or NBC. And, oh, my gosh, were they trashing the president right away. So, Kevin, I choose not to listen to them at all. I went to my mother's other room and listened to Fox. That was about the only people I could handle at the time. And I choose to just turn the TV channel when they start talking negative because I know it's not true, Kevin. I really believe this president is for us, for the Americans. And I'm one of these Hispanics that believes America first. Build the wall. I'm tired of it. My son can't even get insurance here in Idaho. He's 31 years old. It's just ridiculous. The healthcare issue is another thing that hits my buttons. And the recent elections and the primary here in Idaho, I voted for Raul Labrador, and I'm not too sure about who we got as far as to vote for as a Republican. So even here in Idaho, I'm just kind of like, Kevin, I'm just discouraged, okay?
Well, Ramona, see, that's what we have to try and figure out, because what the left wants to do, and look, I'll tell you, that's how I ended up in Idaho. They ran me out of Pittsburgh, the libs, along with President Obama. It's funny, I was talking to a kid the other day. I said, just Google Kevin Miller Obama, and you'll know what happens to conservatives. But they want to eliminate conservative talk radio because this is our home. And they want to eliminate like your family and stuff. Look, I can't get too personal here, but I will say that I'm probably the most quietest person in the workspace, only rivaled by Ray Amaya because, you have people that the libs, they have the high ground right now. We have to somehow come out of the closet.
Right. And I wish our president would have a rally here because I'd be out there with a sign saying, Latina for Trump.
Well, and
but I'm American first.
Well,
Kevin. I really am.
I'll tell you something, Ramona. I have thought about this for quite some time, and we're always looking at our latest crusade. And I believe that our goal should be to get the president here and to say, Mr. President. And here's the other thing: the media. They do a really good job, but they're squishy. No one wants to take a stand, so we'll take a stand.
Oh, I know.
Mr. President, please come to Idaho. We would love to see you here. Your rally would be the biggest ever. And, I think, look, if Obama can come here twice, I think the president should be on the blue of Boise State, and it should be our mission to make that happen.
Yes, that would be awesome. I'm ready.
Well, remember,
I work part-time. I'm ready to,
Ramona,
I wrote the president a letter, but I never sent it. I've got to send it. Add
Ramona,
on to it.
It all started with you and all of us here at Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio with Ramona asking the president to come to Idaho. Hopefully he will come to Idaho and, dreams come true. Wouldn't that be great?
That's so true. Yeah. Yes, and I'm still proud of our country, by the way. I am so proud. I try to look at the at the positive things, okay? I still am glad to be here. When I get tired of watching the news, I turn on an old TV series. I go, okay,
Sure.
time for NYPD.
Well, Ramona, don't be a
Okay.
stranger, all right? And
I'll try not to be.
we're gonna do our very best to get the president to Idaho.
Oh, that's awesome news. And again, good morning, Idaho. You are great people here, and do not be discouraged. I have a friend that says on Facebook, "Don't be discouraged, Ramona. We're here. We're with you."
Okay, Ramona,
care.
God bless.
God bless you too. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. I think that's a great idea that we bring the president to Idaho. And I've thought about this since before he was elected. I've thought about this for many times. And one of the reasons why I didn't bring it up is you don't want to try and not make it happen. But who's to say, we look at our great debate watch parties. That was Liberty Linda's idea. Who's to say that we can't bring the president here to Idaho? You talk about a huge rally. Maybe he'd never leave. What do you think? Should we bring the president? Would you support the president coming to Idaho? I would. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Blessed to be a part of your day. Kevin Miller in the morning. Phone number is 580-5436, 580-KIDO for entertainment purposes only. Chris Cuomo versus Corey Lewandowski. Corey Lewandowski, the former Trump campaign manager, the other day on one of these shows. And this is what happens when you go on these shows. You say things, people take them out of context, and then boom, you're economically impacted from it. In other words, well, I'll let Chris Cuomo set it up on 107.5 FM and 580 AM. We'll get to that in a minute. But basically what happened is they were debating the kids issue. By the way, the cover of Time magazine this week has the president staring down at the little kid that was crying, that was supposedly separated from her parents. Guess what? Not separated from her parents anymore. Not separated from her parents. Amazing that happened. And yet, the president is vilified. One of his great defenders, Corey Lewandowski.
The former Trump campaign manager who ignited all kinds of fury himself after seeming to dismiss struggles of these separated kids on live TV. Corey Lewandowski, it is good to have you on the show. Latest news on you that you'd been dropped by your Speakers Bureau. There's a lot of fallout from what you said. Let me remind people about the back and forth you had with the Democratic operative.
I read today about a 10-year-old girl with Down syndrome who was taken from her mother and put in a cage. I read about did you say want to a 10-year-old with Down syndrome
what
being
I
taken
said
from
is
her
you
mother?
Can pick anything
How
you
dare
want
you?
out, but the bottom line is very
dare
clear.
You?
When you
How
cross
absolutely
the border
dare you,
illegally.
Sir?
All right, let's get through the noise. Corey, tell me that you did not mean to insult kids with Down syndrome or families that are coming across with kids like that.
Chris, of course I never meant to insult anybody with Down syndrome. And who I was talking to was Zach. And I understand what the perception is here and what the media wants to talk about. But what Zach was attempting to do was to use a child with Down syndrome to politicize an issue. But what he didn't tell you, what you need to understand, was that person, that poor child, was not taken from her parent because she came to this country illegally. That poor child was taken from her parent because her mother has been suspected of being a material witness in a child smuggling ring. And so we have to understand the difference. So let me be as clear as I can be. Chris, I would never degrade a child. I'm a father of 4. I understand that. But we have to get past using children as political tools and come up with real solutions.
All right, but let's get, look, I
here.
hear what was going on with you and Zach, but there's some bigger realities here I need you to address. One involves you, one involves this administration. The first one is, it seemed like you were dismissing the plight of people who are coming across the border. And to the extent that that's how people took it, and they find that offensive, shouldn't you apologize for that if you didn't mean it?
Chris, I'm not here to offend anybody. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to defend the laws of this country. So if people are offended, then they shouldn't be. But people have to understand we're a nation of laws, and those laws are very clear. Those laws say, look, We are the largest country in the world that grants asylums to individuals who are being persecuted. We grant over 1 million asylums a year. The second highest country is Germany. This is a country made up of immigrants. We are a country with a big heart. We are a country that wants to welcome people in. But you have to do it legally. Because if we don't have laws and we don't have rules, then we can't be successful. And people understand that. We're a great country. We're all immigrants, Chris.
And there you have it from Corey Lewandowski and Chris Cuomo. Phone numbers here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. And the folks just continue to attack. You've got Donnie Deutsch comparing Trump voters who support the border policy to the Nazis. It's crazy. 54 after the hour, traffic and weather together. Kevin Miller in the morning on KIDO Talk Radio.
Gabbard.
And Kevin Miller in the morning here. By the way, if you're just waking up, we want to thank Ramona for giving us this great idea, our next great crusade. And like I said, we support conservatism. We support discussion. We support the Republicans. So why not bring the president to Idaho? Think about that. And secretly, I've had that thought since the president was elected. We haven't had a presidential visit since old Obama came by. You remember him when he went to Boise State and started talking about the blue. Could you imagine? Now, I know Boise State has problems filling their stadium. They wouldn't have a problem filling their stadium if President Trump came to speak. And this would be the biggest thing the state has ever seen. And you talk about rallying the Republican Party. Wouldn't that be huge where you have, Governor Otter on his last months of his administration, making a call to the president and saying, would you come to Idaho? You could have the governor, the lieutenant governor, or I guess the new governor, and the entire congressional delegation. And really, is there, we're the reddest of the red states. Is there any other state where this would pop? I mean, our top news story is we're floating on the Boise River. Imagine if we had a real-life, legitimate presidential visit, and I can't think of a better place. And you talk about the cure for what's going on. Remember, Jeff Sessions was talking about campuses that have issues with free expression for conservatives. I'd love to see the President of the United States on Boise State Blue. And that would be a message of tolerance, a message of inclusion. And you want to rally it. I think it's the best idea we've had in quite some time. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. How many people have enough guts to wear a Make America Great hat again? Think about how many of those would be sold. And besides just the idea of having the president here, John Decker might visit. We'd have the international media here, and hopefully the president would say something. So the file footage, forget about, sports being an interest. All of a sudden, what's going on here in Idaho, and let's face it, we've got a lot of political stroke lately. We've got the fastest growing state in the nation. We've got the tech. We've got the ag. We've got old America. We've got new America. We have issues like everybody else. And, you talk about the Sith or the libs. Could you imagine their reaction? That's the thing. Well, Donald Trump can't save you now. Maybe he can. I'd really like to discuss this coming up in the upcoming weeks and months. And wouldn't that be outstanding if you have the governor join our crusade to bring the president here to Idaho? Oh, my goodness gracious. One can dream. Let's make it a reality. We'll figure out how to do it next. Kevin Miller, good morning, KIDO Talk Radio.